It was a calm night on the Black Sea, until two missiles changed history. The time, April 13, 2022. The location, 60 nautical miles off the coast of Odessa, Ukraine. The target, the Moskva, flagship of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, pride of its navy and symbol of Soviet legacy. Out of the darkness, two Ukrainian R-360 Neptune anti-ship missiles streaked across the waves, flying just meters above the surface. Within seconds, both struck the Moskva's hull. Explosions ripped through her deck, flames erupted, ammunition detonated, and within hours, the mighty Slava-Class cruiser, the carrier killer that once terrified NATO, began to list and sink beneath the sea. For Russia, it was a humiliation. For Ukraine, it was a triumph. But for the rest of the world, it was a brutal reminder that the Cold War's giants are not invincible. Yet behind this incident lies a deeper story, a story of how the Slava-Class cruiser, a relic of Soviet power, still represents one of the most lethal naval designs ever conceived. This is the story of Russia's Slava-Class cruiser, the steel beast built to hunt aircraft carriers and challenge NATO's rule of the seas. So, stay tuned until the end. The story begins in the late 1960s, during the Cold War's most dangerous years. The Soviet Navy was expanding rapidly, but it faced a major problem. The United States Navy dominated the oceans with its nuclear-powered aircraft carriers. Each American carrier strike group could launch hundreds of aircraft, project power anywhere in the world, and overwhelm Soviet defenses. The Soviet Union needed an answer. It couldn't outbuild the US in carriers, so it decided to outgun them. Its strategy: build carrier killers. Heavily armed missile cruisers designed to destroy entire carrier groups from hundreds of kilometers away. And thus, Project 1164 Atlant was born, known to NATO as the Slava-Class cruiser. The first Slava-Class ship, later known as Moskva, was laid down in 1976 at the 61 Kommunara shipyard in Mykolaiv, Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union. The shipyard was chosen for its experience building large warships, including missile cruisers and aircraft carrier hulls. Between 1976 and 1996, 4 ships were constructed. The first Slava-Class cruiser, later renamed Moskva, commissioned in 1983, second cruiser Marshal Ustinov, commissioned in 1986, third cruiser Varyag, commissioned in 1989. The fourth cruiser Admiral Lobov, Ukraine. Construction halted after the USSR's collapse, never completed. They were built not to escort, but to hunt, command, and destroy. Each one was meant to be the flagship of a strike group capable of fighting NATO's largest naval forces. The Slava-Class cruiser measures 186 meters in length and 20.8 meters in beam, roughly the length of 2 football fields. It displaces about 11,500 tons when fully loaded, making it smaller than the Kirov-Class, but still a formidable heavyweight. Propulsion comes from a COGOG system, combined gas and gas, consisting of 4 gas turbines that produce over 120,000 horsepower, driving 2 massive propeller shafts. This system gives the ship a top speed of around 32 knots and a range of about 7,500 nautical miles, allowing it to operate deep in the Atlantic or Pacific without refueling. Its structure is dominated by the iconic 16 angled missile tubes on both sides of the bow, a signature feature that makes the Slava instantly recognizable from miles away. During the Cold War, the Soviet Navy didn't aim to control the oceans like the US Navy did. Its goal was sea denial, making it too dangerous for US carrier groups to approach Europe or the Soviet coast. The Slava-Class was the centerpiece of that strategy. It was created to hunt and destroy US aircraft carriers, supported by 2 22M backfire bombers, submarines, and long-range radar. Its mission? Strike hard, strike fast, and cripple enemy fleets before they could launch their aircraft. Each Slava-Class cruiser acted as a fleet command ship, coordinating destroyers, frigates, and submarines in large-scale operations. It was less powerful than the nuclear Kirov-Class, but much cheaper, easier to deploy, and faster to build, a perfect blend of cost and capability. After the Soviet Union collapsed, the Slava-Class cruisers became symbols of continuity for the Russian Navy. They were modernized and reassigned as flagships of Russia's three main fleets: Moskva for the Black Sea Fleet, and Marshal Ustinov for the Northern Fleet, Varyag for the Pacific Fleet. Today, the remaining two active ships, Marshal Ustinov, Northern Fleet, and Varyag, Pacific Fleet, continue to serve as flagships of their respective fleets. They play a critical role in power projection, naval diplomacy, and long-range strike missions. Before its sinking, Moskva led operations in the Black Sea, enforcing naval blockades and supporting missile attacks on Ukrainian targets. Each serves as a command ship, a symbol of Russian power projection, and a mobile missile platform capable of threatening NATO forces from the Mediterranean to the Pacific. Let's talk about what makes the Slava-Class truly terrifying: its weapons. P-500 Basalt or P-1000 Vulkan anti-ship missiles. These are the heart of the ship, 16 giant launch tubes on either side of the bow. Each missile weighs over 5 tons, travels at Mach 2.5, and has a range of 550 to 700 kilometers. Its 1,000 kilograms warhead or nuclear payload is designed to obliterate aircraft carriers, cruisers, or destroyers in a single hit. The missiles are programmed to operate in packs. One missile flies high, acting as a radar guide, while the rest fly low, hugging the sea surface to avoid detection. This wolf pack system makes interception extremely difficult, even for Aegis-equipped U.S. destroyers. S-300F Fort long-range air defense system. This is the naval version of the famous S-300. It provides a 150 kilometers radius air defense bubble capable of intercepting aircraft, cruise missiles, and even ballistic targets. Each cruiser carries 8 launchers with 64 missiles total, forming a deadly shield against aerial threats. OSA-MA short-range air defense. For close defense, the ship carries 2 OSA-MA SAM systems, designed to counter incoming missiles and low-flying aircraft within 15 kilometers. AK-130 dual-purpose naval gun. A massive twin 130mm gun sits forward of the superstructure, capable of firing 90 rounds per minute, engaging both ships and shore targets. Close-in weapon systems, CIWS. The Slava-Class is equipped with 6 AK-630 CIWs, each firing 30mm rounds at an astonishing 5,000 rounds per minute, its last line of defense against sea-skimming missiles. Torpedo tubes and anti-submarine warfare. 2 RBU-6000 anti-submarine rocket launchers and 533mm torpedo tubes give it a strong capability against submarines lurking below. Together, these weapons turn the Slava-Class into a floating fortress, a ship designed to operate alone or dominate entire naval sectors. In the hierarchy of warships, the Slava-Class stands as a midpoint between brute force and balance. The Kirov-Class cruisers are Russia's nuclear leviathans, nearly twice the size, powered by nuclear reactors, and carrying more diverse weaponry, but they're expensive, rare, and complex to maintain. The Slava-Class, by contrast, offers speed, agility, and reliability. It can deploy quickly and operate independently, making it more versatile for peacetime patrols and wartime command. Against the U.S. Navy's Ticonderoga-Class, the story is different. The Ticonderoga's strength lies in its Aegis combat system and vertical launch system, which can fire over 120 missiles for air defense, land attack, or anti-submarine warfare. The Slava, on the other hand, relies on brute striking power. Its 16 supersonic anti-ship missiles vastly outgun the Ticonderoga's subsonic harpoons. In a head-to-head confrontation, the Ticonderoga might detect first, but the Slava could strike first, and with devastating power. It's the difference between a network defender and a lone hunter. The Slava-Class represents Russia's ability to challenge U.S. carrier groups in contested waters. Its long-range missiles force NATO to rethink how close their ships can get to Russian coastlines or fleets. A single Slava-Class can deny access to entire sea zones, what military planners call anti-access area denial capability. Tactically, it can operate as a command ship, coordinating submarines, aircraft, and land-based missile systems. Strategically, it's a deterrent asset, a reminder that Russia can still project power across oceans even without aircraft carriers. To counter the Slava-Class, NATO must rely on early detection, long-range precision strikes, and electronic warfare. Destroyers like the Arleigh Burke and cruisers like the Ticonderoga would need to launch salvos of Tomahawks and SM-6s before the Slava's missiles ever leave their tubes. The Slava-Class cruiser was built not for prestige, but for war. It was the Soviet answer to American dominance, a weapon designed to tip the balance of power at sea. And even today, decades after its creation, it remains one of the deadliest warships ever to sail. The sinking of the Moskva may have marked the end of one chapter, but the legend of the Slava-Class lives on, carried by her sisters Marshal Ustinov and Varyag, still prowling the world's oceans. They are the last echoes of the Cold War's naval arms race, steel ghosts reminding the world that beneath the waves, history never truly sinks. Until then, that's all for today, and thanks for watching.